So remember that Tara's in the space before you at a comfortable distance away, approximately a body's length. And you can make her any size you want. If you're having a hard time with concentration, if your mind is like all over the place, they say it's a good idea to make the visualization small, because now you've got to really look at it. And other people say to make it big. So you just have to figure out what works best for you, and then don't vacillate. Don't have the image going big and small, big and small, big and small. Choose what works for you. But make sure she's exquisitely beautiful. The manifestation of all that is positive. She's emerald green. She's made out of light. She's translucent and radiant. She has one very peaceful face with a slight smile that is directed lovingly at you. She has 2 arms. Her hair is very dark, half tied up and half loose, shiny, decorated with a new cauliflower at the crown. Her left leg is drawn up, signifying complete control of her sexual energy. Her right leg is extended, indicating that she's ready to rise to the aid of all beings. Her right hand is on her right knee in the gesture of granting sublime realizations, palm, foot facing outward, thumb and first finger touching with the remaining fingers pointing down. Her left hand is at her heart in the refuge gesture, palm facing outward, thumb and ring finger touching, and the remaining 3 fingers raised. In each hand she holds the stem of a blue cauliflower, the symbol of unblocking the central channel. They bloom at approximately her ear level. One is open, one is closed. Her eyes, very loving and compassionate, are not opened widely but are fine and a little rounded. They express compassion for you like the look of loving kindness a mother gives her beloved only child. Her clothing is of celestial silk. She's adorned with various scarves plus jewel ornaments and garlands of precious gems. She has a necklace, bracelets, armlets, anklets, and so on. She has fully developed breasts. She's adorned with the complete holy signs and exemplifications of a Buddha. On her forehead is a white Om, essence of the Vajra holy body. At her neck a red Ah, essence of Vajra holy speech. At her heart a blue Hum, essence of Vajra holy mind. Behind her is a moon disk. So concentrate on this visualization. It'll be a little slippery in the beginning because we're not used to it. The main thing is to really open your heart to the energy of Tara's inexhaustible loving kindness. And then think of your problems. Think of your needs, think of your aims, and make a prayer to Tara from your heart, asking for her help. And she responds at once by sending streams of light into you. So we're going to visualize each of these in turn. White light nectar beams flow from her forehead, striking into yours, entering inside you, purifying and eliminating all obstacles and negativities of body. Red light nectar beams are emitted from her throat, striking into yours, eliminating all obstacles and negativities of speech. And blue light nectar beams flow from her heart into yours, eliminating all obstacles and negativities of mind. Out of compassion for you and all living beings, Mother Tara has purified you. Because what appears to be an outer obstacle has an inner seed. We have to open up our energy. So we're going to concentrate on this flow of nectar from Holy Tara's body, speech, and mind as we recite the mantra. Om Tari Tutari Turi Soha. 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 You really feel you are now completely free of all problems. Really feel that you have received the inspiration and energy to accomplish your objectives. And then pray to Tara. Think without even a second's delay, may I become Tara and in each moment free innumerable living beings from their suffering and lead them to full enlightenment. May this happen quickly. Pray to be able to achieve this by generating bodhicitta, the wish to achieve Tara for the sake of other living beings. Tara is extremely pleased with you because you are not following the selfish mind, but have changed your attitude to one of using your life to serve others and obtain their temporal and ultimate happiness. What pleases Tara the most is your practice of morality, that is, keeping your vows, and the loving compassion and thought of bodhicitta. These essential Mahayana practices are the best offering you can make to Tara. They bring you closer to Tara so that she can quickly help all your actions succeed. How much Tara helps you depends on how much you practice the essence of the Mahayana teachings. your attitude of bodhicitta, which causes Tara to be extremely pleased with you. She comes to the space above your head, facing the same way as you. She dissolves into green radiating light, which descends through the crown of your head, travels down your Sushumna, your central channel, until it rests in your heart center, your psychic heart center, the seat of your consciousness. And she absorbs into your heart. And your mind merges indistinguishably with Tara's mind. So think, my body, speech, and mind have been blessed to become Tara's Vajra holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. By receiving the blessings of Tara with a calm, devoted mind, you plant the seed to develop your mind and to actually achieve Tara. So just rest in the experience of clarity, tranquility, bliss. And for just a minute, concentrate one pointedly on the nature of Tara's holy mind. So we've built up some really positive energy during the last hour and a half, and we want to dedicate the merits to the generation of bodhicitta and to your achievement of Tara, in order to lead every living being as quickly as possible to Tara's enlightenment. And we want to dedicate for the spread of the teachings and for the long lives of all the holy beings, including our own virtuous friends, without whom it would be impossible for us and other sentient beings to develop any realizations. Due to all the merits of the 3 times collected by me, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all other sentient beings who were totally empty from their own side, may the I, who was totally empty from its own side, achieve Tara's enlightenment, which is also totally empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are totally empty from their own side to that enlightenment which is totally empty from its own side by myself alone, who is totally empty from its own side. So this sadhana, like I said, is in, and I know I haven't had the chance. Can I take this home and look at it? Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
This sadhana came basically from how to meditate, which I think probably everybody has. If you don't, you need it. And but I added the prayers of Lama Yeshe. The beginning prayers are Lama Yeshe's prayers, and then I embellished the sadhana with descriptions from Lama sadhana that I have from Lama Zopa, because the way sadhanas generally work is that they're bare bones, because the Tibetans didn't want to have a cumbersome book. But because we're brand new to Tara and you haven't had teachings on Tara, you needed to have the description on Tara. So when you're doing this practice, if you decide to practice this sadhana, and you get accustomed to the way she looks, you don't have to read that whole section of how she looks. It's there to help your visualization become really strong, like that. Now, we are allowed to do this sadhana, this practice, without an initiation, but I would strongly urge you to put it into your mind to get the blessings from a teacher to really be able to do this practice. There's different ways that teachers can give empowerments, and but if you take the sadhana, if you take the initiation from an enlightened person such as Lama Zopa, who actually will manifest as Tara, it just helps us ripen our potential even faster. So if you should put that like in the to bucket list of things that I hope someday will happen, even if it hasn't happened now or doesn't look like it'll happen in the future, like that, because it's better. It's more powerful if you get the blessings of a teacher. And does it make sense? Have you ever thought about the fact that people say, well, I've got obstacles right now. They talk about their external obstacles. That external obstacles all have an inner root. And sometimes we don't want to think like that because we want to think that they're totally separate from us. But our whole world is a manifestation of our mind. If that weren't true, we couldn't become Tara. It would be like Tara was a separate, self-existent entity sitting over there, and we're here in our mucked up world, and it's self-existent. It's not the case. We are who we are because of what we think, of what we do. And when we do these practices, we're changing that. To have bodhicitta as your fundamental thought is so extraordinary. This woman I told you about who called me because the one girl did this and the other girls did that, and then this boy did that. Boy. This 68-year-old boy did this. Can you imagine if she had bodhicitta in her mind? You can't do that blaming. That blaming game. You can't do it. But if bodhicitta is the operative mode at that moment, you're thinking about them. But we don't do it. We think about us. So what we're doing here is changing the way we think, truly changing the way we think, so that we can become Tara, so that obstacles are gone. We can deal with obstacles, transform obstacles. So think about that. Because everybody's got obstacles. You hear that. Or they'll go to psychics to find out about this obstacle and that obstacle. Isn't it? People go to psychics. My mom went to psychics. Yeah.
Jackie, what was your point about Tara not being like self-existent?
Well, that's what it says in the dedication, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That she doesn't exist from her own side.
Right. So, excuse me, so what, I guess I was curious, like, what you were saying about that. If she doesn't exist from her own side, then our relationship to her...
If she was existing from her own side, out there, independent,
Yeah.
then we couldn't be Tara. Because she would be self-existent, sitting out there out in a cloud.
Right.
But the fact is that at one point in time, we will be able to be Tara.
Because she's not self-existent, because we can
She doesn't
manifest.
exist. She doesn't exist out there independent.
Right, right.
She's dependent.
Mhm.
What is Tara? Tara is the elimination of all the negativities and the input of all the positivities.
Okay.
So when we do that,
Mhm.
that's dependent. Do you see that what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's not
yeah, I never thought
independent.
about it like that.
It's dependent. Does that make sense? That it's dependent.
Mhm.
It's dependent. So if this
On
were,
causes and conditions.
if this was the Tara vessel,
Yeah.
so we would completely empty it
Mhm.
of all the muddy water.
Mhm.
and then we would completely fill it with all the light nectar. And now we call it Tara. But it's
Yeah.
still conventional. At the end of the day,
Right.
I'm not sure, you can ask somebody, but I don't know, because what they say is that the one becomes many, the one mind,
Yeah.
the one omniscient mind
Mhm.
can now become many forms to benefit sentient beings.
Mhm.
But the many then is only one. That's kind of like mind-blowing if you think about it, that it's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, that she's not independent. She
Yeah.
doesn't exist without a cause and a
Right.
condition.
Right.
And that's the good news.
Yeah.
Because if she existed as self-existent
Mhm.
over there,
Mhm.
then we can't,
Tap into it.
no.
Yeah, right. No, that really just struck me when you said it. I was like, oh, I didn't think of it like that.
But there are beings who have, that are ahead of us,
Mhm.
that have, eliminated all the negativities and incorporated all the positivities that are ahead of us, that carry the label Tara.
Mhm.
So that there is that that being that we can supplicate to. But the point is for us to become that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, what you just said. So you said Mama Yeshi was a Tara? Or
For me,
what is that? I'm curious.
like I could actually see Lama, but because it was wish fulfilling. Wish fulfilling.
He was wish fulfilling?
Wish fulfilling, like a Tara. Like, just, like another story I tell is that I had done a Tara retreat when I lived at the monastery in Nepal. And after the retreat, I had to get a visa. And I had no good reason to get a visa. I didn't deserve one. I had overextended my time. The reason I came up for the visa was completely bogus. I couldn't even sell it. But I tried. And I was
Mhm.
denied. And then I just sat there in the room. I just finished the retreat. I sat there and I just had the mantra going. I just sat there and was doing I don't know what in the world possessed me just to sit down in this room. Just, the mantra was going, and then within some amount of time, the guy reached over and took my passport and gave me the visa. So when I went back up to Kopan Hill, to the monastery, Lama Geshe was waiting for me.
Mhm.
And he said, "Do you have something to tell me, dear?"
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lama personally manifested to me like that. And so there is, I mean, you can see Tara. If your mind becomes pure enough, you can see the image of Tara.
Just in general, like
Yeah,
out and about?
she can appear to you, yeah. If your mind is pure enough. So there are Taras, there are enlightened minds that take the aspect of Tara to fulfill certain functions. And there are enlightened minds that take the aspect of Vajrapani to fulfill certain functions. And there are enlightened minds that fill the jobs of Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara and Siddhi Garba, Medicine Buddha, like that. And they're all like specialized. So you can tap into them for particular needs.
Did Lama Yeshi, did he say that he was somehow like, that was just something of that you
Yeah.
had experienced?
But like I was saying, I was talking to John Landau on the way over, and if you haven't had a teaching from John Landau, hopefully he'll come, next year he may travel. But, I mean, no question, John Landau, for 100%, Lama was Tara. I have another friend up in Canada, we've talked, no question, 100% Lama was Tara. Karuna Katen, no question, Lama was Tara. No question.
Are there others that you know of? I'm just curious.
Other Taras
Like other people that
saw that?
were humans? No, that like.
Oh yeah, well His
been-
Holiness the Dalai Lama, without a doubt, is Chenrezig,
Okay.
without a doubt. And His Holiness Sakyatizan is without a doubt Manjushri, without a doubt. Did you have a doubt?
No.
No.
Who's the last person?
His Holiness Sakyatizan, he's the head of the Sakya lineage,
Yeah.
and he's known to be the manifestation of Manjushri. And you get into his presence and you just do not have a doubt. First off, his English is immaculate.
Yeah.
You don't have to struggle with his English at all. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And so I was reading this the other day, that, but if you ask these beings, they will tell you no. absolutely not, because that's one of their vows. Oh, you don't ever show off, you know, you keep all of that quiet. And so His Holiness was denigrating himself, saying, you know, I'm just a simple monk. And somebody in the audience said, well, if you're just a simple monk, what kind of hope is there for us? And His Holiness said, this is what His Holiness said. He said that he did remember being, when Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching 2,600 years ago, he did remember being there.
Who said that?
Dalai Lama.
Oh, okay.
Amy Miller tells that story too.
Does she?
That he was in the back of the room
Yeah.
as a farmer or like a poor
Yeah, I don't know
farmer.
how he was, what he was, but
Yeah.
But that just gives me chills because,
Mm.
but anyway, His Holiness the Dalai Lama just manifests in different ways for the benefit of sentient beings. When the mind is enlightened, then it takes forms according to the needs of the sentient beings. It can be a bridge. You can, I mean, an enlightened mind can manifest as a bridge if somebody's having, you know, trouble traversing. And there's even what does Simon and Garfunkel say? Bridge over troubled waters. So, but in that beautiful prayer of Shanti Davis, you know, may I be of whatever. Shanti Davis got these beautiful prayers. So, why not? If you're made out of light, I mean, there's you've got no limitations on what you can do. Right now, we just have trouble keeping our mind, you know, our body and our speech and our mind in some kind of nice accord. But it's making those efforts, doing these prayers. I really think that Four Immeasurables is the most exquisite translation that I've ever heard. Because it includes, may I do these things. It's like armor. So, I really appreciate you coming because I really happen to love Tara.
You can tell. It's
How do you really?
Yeah, we do.
You pass it on.
How do I really feel? You're the one who always has some funny jokes, the funny things to say. Me too, you always have funny things to say. Yeah, but I hope it, you know, inspires you a little bit and helps you understand the deity practice. Because the deity practice is really amazing. But I have to say, you cannot give up and do deity practice and not do Lam Rim.
See, that's what to me is very tricky, is trying to balance all this.
Yeah.
And having the time to.
Well, you know, even if it's true, it is tricky.
Yeah.
100%. But you have to be able to make use of like I said, in the pool. I do my prayers in the pool. Well, why not? Well, what else am I going to do? Have mindless thoughts? And you know what I do? I get so excited because I save so many bugs' lives. And I've even saved mosquitoes. People say,
Oh
you
my
want to
God.
save a mosquito? Yeah, it's like thrilling to pick up this diaphanous creature. You know, he's just completely waterlogged.
Diaphanous?
Well, you know, like
What
mosquitoes
is
are,
that?
they're like made out of lace.
Oh.
Isn't it? And you should think that a mosquito would hit the water and completely just die, but you can pick it up and do Oma, 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 Om. And he becomes alive again. It's just thrilling.